and welcome to today's presentation on franchise sales and development. Great to see you all. Author Paul Parker has said about the sales process, people like to feel that they're buying with their own good judgment as a result of the information the salesman has given them. So what does this make franchise sales? An art? A practice? A science? Perhaps an exercise in life coaching? We'll leave the psychology of closing the sale for another day. Today we're going to be focusing on the process of franchise sales, including how to build and strengthen your in-house sales process, and what your options are for outsourcing all or part of the sales process. Before we begin, of course, please let me take a moment to introduce our esteemed panelists to you. Dave Omholt will first be providing us with an overview of the franchise sales process, and then we'll be speaking about the various options available for lead generation. Dave is the founder and CEO of the Entrepreneur Authority. He also heads up the Franchise Center of Excellence, a training program which educates franchise consultants on the finer points of franchising. Dave has earned a Certified Franchise Executive designation, the highest accreditation in the industry, and has completed both the Franchise Management Certificate Program at the University of Texas at El Paso and the Fast Track MBA in Franchise Management at the Nova Southeastern University School of Business and Entrepreneurship. Dave is a frequent speaker at universities, seminars, conferences, and talk shows on franchising, entrepreneurship, and small business ownership. Members of the International Franchise Association have called him one of the top franchise consultants in the country. Dave also has the distinction of being on the Fair Franchising Standards Committee of the American Association of Franchisees and Dealers, which promotes total quality franchising and win-win relationships between franchisees and franchisors. Thanks for being here, Dave. James, our late one, but we're so glad you made it, will be speaking to us about how to build and strengthen your in-house sales development program. James is a 22-year veteran of franchising with a strong reputation for launching new brands and relaunching established brands. He currently serves as Vice President of Franchising and Development for Fazoli's Pizza, which is the largest Italian quick service chain in the U.S. with more than 200 restaurants in 26 states. James previously served as Vice President of Franchising for Red Mango, where he grew the system from single digits to more than 100 franchise locations in a little over 2 years. He also served as National Director of Franchise Sales at Dunkin' Brands and in franchise development for the Dwyer Group. And Mike, here to share his experience with in-house and outsourced sales options is Mike Pollock, there at the end. Mike is Vice President of the At-Home and Mobile Division of Franchise Dynamics, a franchise sales organization that handles everything from franchise sales marketing all the way to closing the deal. Before joining Franchise Dynamics, Mike worked with the Entrepreneur Authority, where he helped dozens of franchisees acquire single-unit, multi-unit, and area development opportunities, and helped new business owners establish processes. And last but certainly not least is our moderator for today, Jason Killough. Jason is a certified franchise executive and an independent affiliate with the Entrepreneur Authority. Prior to working with the Entrepreneur Authority, he was Vice President of Franchise Development for Home Investors of America, the We Buy Ugly Houses real estate investment franchise, where he managed the franchise sales department. While there, his department recruited more than 160 new franchisees into the system over a 3-year period. Prior to joining Home Investors, Jason sold and supported franchises both domestically and internationally for I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, Janiking, ASI Sign Systems, Pizza Inn, and 24/7 vending. He has awarded hundreds of individual and master franchises in both the US and internationally for these concepts and has conducted business in 20 countries in Asia, Australia, Europe, and Latin America. Jason is also a member of the planning committee for the IFA Franchise Business Network in Dallas. Now it is my pleasure to turn the presentation over to Jason.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Again, welcome. I am Jason Killough, and it's always a pleasure to see so many familiar faces and to speak to those in the franchising world and those interested in getting into franchising. One of the first things I was asked to do is to tell you, first of all, this is being recorded, so keep that in mind. I am the moderator, and we're a little bit behind schedule, and I was also asked to make sure to keep a bunch of franchise sales folks on schedule, which I think is going to be near impossible. But I'm going to do my best. So without further ado, let me introduce my friend and colleague with the Entrepreneur Authority, David Omholt, who is going to jump right in and talk to you about the franchise sales and development overview, give you a big picture of franchise sales. Dave?
Okay, thank you, Jason. I guess before I get into the deep detail, probably all of us up here would be bold-faced liars to say that the stars are all in alignment right now in franchise sales, that every component that you want to have in place is in place. It's just not the case. However, if you were to rewind the clock back a year or certainly 2 years from today, it was far bleaker. And so the snapshot in time today, as we look at it, is far better, and I think we're on a positive trajectory for growth. And probably the three factors causing that are, number one, the availability of real estate. The commercial real estate game right now is as good as I've ever seen it. And been in this game for about 20 plus years. I've never seen the deals, the negotiability, and availability of prime real estate at killer prices. So that's one component that is in alignment. The second is the banks. The banks are playing finally. We're seeing that the faucet is turned back on, where there was a moratorium for many years or for many months, where everyone was afraid of their own shadows and bankers just weren't in play. We're seeing that come back, and not where we want it and where we need it, but it's getting there. And the third and probably most strategic reason for this is because a lot of franchisors are playing not to lose. And a lot of franchisors are playing defensively. And those of you, presupposing you're in this crowd, are playing to win and are playing to conquest market share. Because market share is up for grabs right now. There's no doubt about it that market share is being taken for granted by the people who are kind of asleep at the wheel, waiting for the economic funk to all come back into alignment. And so you see aggressive franchisors playing to win and not letting relationships atrophy in the market. And this is when you see people leapfrog. So for those three reasons, I think it's a good time. If we look at the detail of this franchise sales pipeline, a lot of this is derived from the Franchise Update Conference that's held every year in Atlanta. I don't know how many people have gone to the Update Conference this year. Steve? A few others? This is probably the latest and greatest numbers to report to you on the the current health and the current economics of the franchise sales process. So this is talking about all the lead generation options and all the time frames and the ratios that you're looking at as today's current reality. So at the top, you see the 7 bubbles. The 7 bubbles are the possible lead sources that you can generate franchise sales from. There really isn't another option that I can think of other than these 7. So you get everything from publicity on the left side to the right side, referrals, walk-ins, and the word-of-mouth type of advertising, and everything in between. Referrals are always the best option because you don't have to pay for them, assuming you're not paying any shills out there and you're not having to court franchisees that way. But the well runs dry quickly on those. You have a limited number of referrals you can get and a limited number of walk-ins. So you gotta tap these other channels. And it's like a portfolio, just like an investment portfolio. You can't have all your money in bonds. You can't have all your money in stocks. You have to have a mix. Same thing in the lead generation side of things. Trade shows may not be a good option for you at this stage of your life cycle. Brokers may not be possible for you right now at this stage of your life cycle. So you might be looking at other channels like internet, social media, direct mail. You're looking at publicity, PR. So whatever your size of investment is, whatever your target franchisee profile and candidate is, will dictate what's most appropriate for you.